Welcome to my weekend market roundup, 8th May 2021. I am Sagar Nandi, retired IT professional, swing trading stocks using the Q systems and techniques. You may contact me using my email ID tradingprofitably@gmail.com. I regularly share live market and stock analysis on my website sagarnandi.com, YouTube channel Trading Profitably, and Twitter handle Sagarnandi. You are most welcome to make use of them. Disclaimer: this demonstration is for educational purposes only. I am not an investment advisor. It is not a trade recommendation. Trading involves risk. You and only you are solely responsible for the outcome of your trades. These are the systems I use in my trading. They are based on the TradeStation and MetaStock underlying platforms. That was the last slide. Let's continue with the live system. We start with a look at the global markets. For global market analysis, I am using Q Global running on MetaStock. We are starting with the Australian index AXJO. In the daily chart, for the last several weeks, Australia market is moving inside very narrow range. It is near the upper boundary. This is not a location where we would like to initiate new trades. Over longer term, it is bullish. However, at the right edge, it is moving inside narrow sideways range. What about Japanese market? Japanese market index topics continuing to remain inside a triangle pattern formed by resistance memory trend line at the top, support memory trend line at the bottom. As is Q guideline, will avoid taking any trade unless it can break out of this triangle pattern. In the weekly chart, after displaying the bearish headwind, price has dropped and the backdrop color has remained bearish so far for 6 successive weeks. That's once again why we pay attention to the headwind possible reversal signal whenever it appears. China CSI index, this is also continuing to stay inside the range found by the resistance memory and the support memory. Will avoid taking any swing trade unless it can break out of the range. Incidentally, the trend line support in the weekly chart that I pointed to long time ago when price dropped sharply, that trend line support is still holding. UK's Footsie Index. Remember when price came here and this trend line was formed, I suggested that we could take a long trade on one of these days. And I mentioned that because the index itself was close to the upper boundary, we could not buy the index but look for strong fundamental stocks at that time. The trendline support has held and Footsie index has gone up from there, hitting the upper boundary. Therefore, if you bought strong fundamental stocks with proper Q long trade setups, most likely they had hit the profit target by today. Once again, by carefully observing the chart pattern, the bullish candle shape in this case and the trend line support, which works very well, you could initiate a long trade just in time. Not a day late, not a day early. Right now it is going up, but it is above upper boundary. I will avoid taking new long trades in Footsie Index right now. It is certainly moving in an uptrend now. Lastly, India's Nifty 50 index. In the weekly chart, the trend line support is providing nice support. After hitting the trend line support 3 weeks ago, it is holding above the trend line. 1 week ago, it had backdrop color as bullish, though the shape was mixed, and this week's color and shape both are bullish. If you look at the weekly, it seems that price will go up from here. However, in the daily, it is still inside a triangle pattern formed by resistance and support trend lines. We may look for long trades, but be aware of the resistance trend lines. If price reverses from the resistance trend lines, then you may consider exiting long trades that you were holding. Of course, a particular stock's long trade will be exited based on the plan that you had when you entered the trade. This is moving sideways. Most of the global markets are not giving any buy setup, neither are they giving any short setup. Let's see what is true for the USA market. I'll continue to use Q Global. Sometimes I may move to Q Elite that is running on TradeStation. Let's continue with Q Global for the USA market ETFs. S&P 500 ETF SPY. The weekly is bullish in shape, bullish in color. Friday's candle is bullish in shape, bullish in color. It looks like price wants to go up from here. It is near the upper boundary, therefore we may avoid taking long trades in SPY. However, there are industries that are starting to go up now, and there are stocks in those industries that are breaking out, not yet at the overbought level or extended level of upper boundary. You may look for long trades in those stocks because SPY seems to be going up next week, more likely than not, at least in the first couple of days. SPY made a new all-time high on Friday. So did DIA. This is probably the strongest of the market ETFs in the USA market. Very bullish shape color in weekly, and the daily is going up for 4 days in a row. Friday's candle is bullish. It seems price wants to go up from here. New all-time high above upper boundary, similar to SPY. Nasdaq ETF QQQ. This is weaker than DIA and SPY. We instantly know that from several things. One is the weekly color is magenta. Backdrop color is bearish, not bullish. Didn't make a new all-time high. Friday's candle shape is also not bullish, a doji candle. If we are going to take a long trade in any of the market ETFs, QQQ will not be that one. At the same time, we are not going to take any short trade because there is a trend line support near price. QQQ, you may say, is moving sideways. And if you look back, the bearish headwind that came earlier, it created a watermark resistance. Price is still below that resistance level. It is weaker than SPY and DIA. Let's see IWM, Russell 2000 ETF. Instantly, we see this is similar to QQQ. Backdrop color is bearish and daily is moving inside a range, also inside the triangle pattern created by resistance and support memory. Therefore, if we are going to take bullish trades, we may look for stocks that are inside SPY and DIA, not tech stocks, that is QQQ constituents, and may not be IWM. IWM has 2000 stocks. Some of those stocks may be going up. You may look for that. IWM itself is not giving any opportunity to buy or short because it is having trendline resistance and trendline support nearby. Global markets were moving sideways, many of them. USA market is showing a mixed picture. SPY and DIA are bullish. QQQ, IWM are moving sideways. Let's see what additional insight we can gather from the market internal studies or market breadth studies. Let's look at the mega cap top 20. This, no, sorry, not mega cap top 20. This is market breadth total view. Sorry, I was mute for a while. Sound is on now. This is mega, not mega, this is market breadth total view created from the two composites and four major indices. The percentage of MA calculations are either near 80% level, or for the yellow line it's at 70% level. That is, about 80% of stocks are having 50 MA above 200 MA. About 70% stocks are having price above 50 MA. About 80% of stocks are having price above 200 MA. That is a composite insight based on the calculation on the 5 indices. That shows a very bullish picture. When market is at all-time high for SPY DIA, we are looking for possible signs of weakness that comes in terms of distribution counts. But we don't have any distribution count. If anything, we have one accumulation count on Thursday and another on Friday. Thursday from Dow Jones Industrials and Friday from NYSE. No significant market drop has happened unless we had a distribution count of at least 2. And now instead of distribution count, we have accumulation count. And the accumulation count is not very high. It's just 1, not 6 or 5. If we had accumulation count of 6 or 5 near the top, that might point to possible climax top. But that is also not coming. It is just accumulation count of 1. That shows that market is bullish and it is healthy bullish. It's not at an extreme climax run yet. This I am showing for several weeks now. The market breadth total view accumulation distribution count. It is not pointing to any imminent and sharp reversal. Relatively, Nasdaq is weaker. I showed it in the previous few webinars. Let me show that today also. I'll just point to the weakness of Nasdaq relative to NYSE. The yellow line, percentage of stocks above 50 MA for Nasdaq, is remaining below 50%, whereas the other studies in Nasdaq are stronger, and certainly for NYSE they are very strong. The yellow line being below 50% for Nasdaq is showing the relative weakness of Nasdaq, and we saw that weakness in QQQ also, relative weakness. The 3-month new high-low line for Nasdaq has come below the extreme level. The 3-month new high-low line for NYSE is back at the extreme level. And if we went back to the market breadth total view, the 3-month new high-low is near the extreme level. That is pointing to some extreme, but not, it is reaching the extreme, it has not reached the extreme yet. So market is looking bullish and healthy bullish, not like a climax run up yet. Now let's look at QH, the bucket analysis. The percentage of stocks in the uppermost bucket is now at 21%. That is a big jump from previous day when it was 8.8, say 9%. So it's a big jump of 12% in the uppermost bucket. That is showing that the market is heating up. Usually it tends to reverse after it goes to 30% level or so. There is still some room to go to 30% from 21%, but this sudden jumps of 10%, 15% or more in one day in the most extreme bucket is showing some sign of exuberance. We may keep note of that. The percentage of stocks in the lowermost bucket has come down. Some days earlier it was a yellow W kind of pattern where it was very high at the lowest end, very high in the highest end, and it had a distribution pattern like this, looking like a W. That W pattern is not there anymore. Instead, it is steadily going up from the lower left to upper right. That is showing a bullish market, not lopsided market like it was when it was displaying that W pattern. It is bullish and it has room to run further to 30%, 40% or so in the most extreme bucket. Still, we are taking note of the fact that in a single day, the percentage of stocks in the most extreme bucket is jumping by 10-15% or more. If we look at the 1 month to 1 day sector industry stock market breadth, 1 month to 1 day, sector advance decline, industry advance decline, stock advance decline. Remember, in the last few webinars I mentioned when 1 day and 2 day was looking bearish, that I mentioned that had happened many times earlier. 1 day, 2 day advance decline breadth across sectors, industries, stocks were looking bearish only to turn bullish again. I mentioned that in the last 1 or 2 webinars, and that happened again. Now 1 and 2 day periods are bullish, 5 day is bullish, 10 days bullish, and 1 month has been bullish for a long time. This picture is bullish from every aspect. We have no sign of weakness here. Now let's look at Q Finder technical market breadth. Let's look at the weekly picture. This is technical breadth using weekly interval across thousands of stocks. All signals bullish, but not at an extreme level. Strength signals bullish, trend continuation bullish, trend reversal also bullish. No weakness whatsoever. All the categories are bullish and at a healthy level, not 90%, 95%, 80%. At a healthy level, about 60-65% throughout. And if we see Friday's picture, that is also bullish across all the categories. If we look at the number of bearish headwinds in the weekly interval, that has come down. I was keeping an eye on that. That number has come down. That is also saying that the market is continuing to remain bullish. Technical breadth is also bullish. Therefore, we looked at the market from many angles. The USA market is showing some diversion between SPY, DIA, that is industrial stocks, people also say cyclical stocks, and the tech stocks and small cap stocks. Tech stocks are relatively weaker. Small caps, it has many stocks. You may find buying opportunities there. You may avoid buying tech stocks right now. Now, if you look at some of the popular growth stock indicators, let's look at IBD 50, FFTY, IBD 50 ETF. Here you see it is very similar to QQQ and IWM. The weekly backdrop color is bearish and daily is moving in a range. Therefore, if you are only growth stock investors, you are not doing very well probably. Also, if you look at ARK Fund, this is another ETF that is followed by many growth investors. This is worse than IBD 50. Broke below the trend line support in weekly, though it has a lower tail, still it broke below the trend line support, 3 of them this week. That is bearish. Daily has watermark support, tried to go below that on Thursday, recovered, tried to go up on Friday but fell down, closed near the low of the day. If this watermark level is broken next week, then there is probably more pain for the ARK fund or investors who are buying stocks that are aligned with ARK fund. One interesting thing is, if you look at the top, the bearish headwind came in the weekly right at the very top, and the bearish headwind also came in the daily right near the very top. If you kept an eye on the bearish headwinds, especially them coming together around the same time in both weekly, daily, and daily had several other warning signals, two indecision at the top, one bear release at the top, and we know the bearish headwind was also there in between, that could protect your long position. And soon after that, it went below this watermark resistance that was also created by a bearish headwind. When it came below that watermark resistance, it created a false upside breakout. That false upside breakout was created by this magenta candle, which also gave a go with flow short trade setup in Q guideline. Therefore, you had warning signals at the top, followed by a trend following short trade in ARK fund ETF ARKK. You could book your profit and probably take a short trade, which ended up being very profitable. You could take a short trade using reversal at the top headwind signal, or you could probably take it even with even more confidence when the go with flow short setup appear. Market is showing some stocks to be very strong, some particular kind of stocks like growth stocks, ARK fund kind of stocks, they are not doing well. That analysis helps you to decide what to buy, what not to buy. There are buying opportunities, and let me now show the integration between Q Edge, Vital, seasonality, Finder, everything, how we can find trading opportunities very quickly. Very quickly, but using extremely robust systems that run in 100% real time. I look at some stocks soon, but before that, let me review some of the stocks I shared in earlier webinars. And I'm switching to Q Elite, running on TradeStation for that. Diageo, an alcoholic beverage company, I showed it to have a bearish headwind at the top, and it also had a trendline breakout at that time. I pointed that as a possible shorting opportunity, and stop would be just above the recent high. After that, price could not go up. Price could not go down, moved sideways for a while, and then Thursday and Friday it went up. On Friday, it closed above the trendline resistance, broke above the trendline resistance. The weekly became bullish in color and shape. Looking at that, if you took a short trade using the bearish headwind and trendline breakout, you could close your short position with a small loss. You would not have to wait for Monday, because it seems Monday price will continue to go up. These trendline breakouts, both to the upside and downsides, are significant. Looking at that, one could book the loss in the trade on Friday itself if you took that. Another stock that I was watching was LPX. It's a forest products industry stock. Lumber futures are on fire, so are stocks, at least some stocks in this industry. LPX was one of them, going straight up in the weekly chart for many months. I noticed there was a bearish headwind in the daily, and I shared in the forum that you may keep an eye on the trend line support. If the trend line support was broken and you had a long position, you could be cautious and protect your profit. But the trend line was not broken, it held. On Thursday, price tried to breach the trend line, but then went up again. If you are holding a long position in this stock or a stock similar to this, once the bearish headwind appears, you may start to be cautious, and if there is a trend line support, you may wait for the trend line to be broken before deciding whether to book profit or not. Here the trend line support is not broken, so we would continue to hold any long position that we might have. A long trade idea that I shared earlier was on CYH. This was also on the forum. sagarnandi.com, open to the public. I shared the idea right on this date, based on this day's signal, a pullback setup. We call that a signal day. You could take the trade at the close of the signal day, or if you are doing analysis after closing the market, after market close, you could try to enter it next day using Q real-time fine-tune chart. It has gone up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row after that, giving a profit that is much more than the risk taken in the trade. And this is an example of long trades that we may take that are not extended. It gave a pullback setup. It also gave a go with flow long setup on the same day, and it worked beautifully. It was fundamentally strong and its industry was also strong, so it gave a Q360 degrees trade setup. Those are few stocks that I discussed earlier, either on YouTube or on my forum. Now let's see how we can combine the different Q systems together. Which are the Q systems? One is Q Edge for sector industry rotation analysis, Q Vital for fundamental analysis, and Q Seasonality for seasonality analysis, Q Finder for technical analysis. If you are using TradeStation, instead of Finder, you could use the Q Sonar. Let me use Q Finder first. Q Finder, the technical breadth was bullish. Market is also bullish, healthy bullish, not at an extreme yet. There is no distribution count of 2, actually no distribution count at all. So let's look for buying opportunities, but opportunities that are not at upper boundary, stocks that are not overbought, etc. So I'm going to go to all the bullish signals that came on Friday, and you can see several stocks went up by very large percentages on Friday, on one day. Many traders prefer breakout trades. So let me flag the breakout trades. I have 155 symbols giving breakout trades. Instead of going through 155, let's look at their seasonality and see if any of these stocks have bullish seasonality in this month of May. Because I am going to do seasonality analysis of all the stocks, I am putting my cursor on the symbol header cell that will automatically select all the symbols that are on display. I don't have to click and drag and select all of them separately. Just place cursor on the header column and I'm going to click the seasonality button. Because I am using multiple stocks, it will send control to Q Seasons program, the seasonality program that can handle multiple stocks at the same time. Q Seasons, this program is used to check seasonality of multiple stocks and then choose the best ones. Calculation is done. 155 stocks were received and it has calculated, retrieved data in real time from Refinitiv, calculated seasonality for all of them successfully. Let's look at them. This is the seasonality table for all those stocks. I have filtered out stocks that don't have at least 10 years of data, because then the seasonality calculation may not be reliable. That is controlled by this parameter. By setting it to 10, I am telling the system that don't show me stocks that have data less than 10 years. I can still buy them, but not based on seasonality analysis, based on other Q analysis, but not on seasonality, because less than 10 years of data may not be reliable enough for seasonality. If you wanted, you could change it to 5 also. One way to do that is just click this 5 button. Let me do that. So now it is showing all the stocks with at least 5 year of data, and whenever you see the yellow color cell here, you know that it has less than 10 years. If you set it to 0 and refresh the data, Then you will see there are some rows which are in orange color. Those are rows where we have less than 5 years of data. For seasonality analysis, I think we should have at least 10 years of data. So let me change it back to minimum of 10 years of data available, only those stocks. And we are in the month of May, so I can put my cursor on the header row of May or anywhere on the May column, and then click the buttons at the top to see very high bullish seasonality, medium or lower bullish seasonality, or very high bearish seasonality, medium or lower but still bearish seasonality. Let me click the cyan button. I have two stocks with more than 80% bullish seasonality. Let me refresh the data again, clicking the number 10, getting all the data back, and click the green seasonality button, not the cyan one. That will, okay, I put my cursor first on the month for which I want the seasonality smart filter to be applied. So I put my cursor on the May column, click the green button. Now you see it is showing me all the stocks. What are these stocks? These are the 155 stocks that are having possible breakout setup on Friday, and that has at least 10 years of history. And now I have also focused on only stocks having bullish seasonality of at least 70%. These are the stocks. Now we could look at their fundamentals. One way is to highlight them by clicking and dragging, or you may again put the cursor on the header row. If you want all of them to be selected, put cursor on the header row, and now I'm going to do a fundamental scorecard analysis of these stocks. Let me do that. Sorry, I should put, if I am trying to select all of them, I have to put cursor on the symbol column, or let me drag and select all of them. Click the peer analysis that transferred all the stocks to Q Vital. It's retrieving data from Refinitiv and calculating the scorecard. Everything is done in real time. Data is retrieved in real time. I am not storing any data on folder. I don't like to maintain folders. Calculation is done. Let's look at these stocks. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stocks. Now I want to quickly look at the strongest fundamental stocks. I could do that by using the 3-star button or the 1-star button, the less restrictive one. 3-star will give me stocks that are high growth plus undervalued. 1-star will give me stocks that are either high growth or undervalued. Or I could use the valuation filter, extreme high growth filters, quarterly earnings growth filters, yearly earnings growth filters. Let me do single star. I have multiple stocks. Now note the stock, Netgear and ATVI. Even if I click 3-star, you will see they are remaining. Meaning what? I am now left with only 2 stocks that are undervalued, that are having excellent earnings growth in the last quarter. In fact, they are having great revenue growth also in the last quarter. Both of them are having robust earnings quality. Went up on Friday. Reasonable percentage above 52-week low. Still some distance away from 52-week high. What are these stocks then? These are breakout candidates with at least 10 years of data, with strongly bullish seasonality in the month of May, having excellent earnings and revenue growth, great earnings quality, undervalued stocks. Now let's look at these stocks charts. In fact, if I wanted, I could continue to use Q Global. Let me do that. From Vital, I could select these 2 stocks and open them by clicking the chart icon. This is ATVI. Let me change the template to weekly daily at a glance template. Activision Blizzard ATVI weekly bounced up from near the trendline support, closed with a very bullish shape candle with backdrop color bullish, closed just below the weekly trendline resistance. In the daily, went up on Thursday, Friday, broke above this trend line resistance. That's why it gave a breakout signal on Q Finder. There is one trend line resistance nearby. The weekly daily, if you combine both of them together and the fundamentals, they are looking strong. You may watch to see if this trend line resistance is broken. That may give a prolonged up move in the stock. Probably then it will go beyond 52-week high, which may be all-time high also. I don't know, I have to look back, but at least it will go above 52-week high most likely if this trendline resistance is broken. You might wait for the trendline resistance to be broken, or you could use the Q fine-tune chart on Monday to take a low risk entry using real-time 5-minute interval chart. That was ATVI, and the other stock was Netgear. Let's also look at it using weekly daily. Interestingly, this also found support right at the weekly trendline support. The weekly has a bullish shape candle, color is neutral. After many weeks of bearish backdrop color, this week the color changed to yellow. The daily also had trendline support, displayed a bull release right at the trendline support. That was Wednesday. Then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday it went up, broke above some trendline resistance. Looking at the multiple trendline resistance and the fact that it closed little bit lower at the close of market on Friday, had an upper tail, I wouldn't take a long trade on Friday, but on Monday, if it is continuing to go up, I'll be happy to take a long trade using Q fine-tune real-time chart. This is how in the current market you can look for trades that are not overbought technically, that are giving a proper Q trade setup, breakout setup in this case, in stocks that are fundamentally strong. Both of these are 3-star candidates, undervalued with high earnings growth, and they have bullish seasonality as well. One thing that we didn't check yet is the industry. Let's do that. Let's go back to Cube Vital. Let me close the charts. Go back to Cube Vital. We have these two stocks, and I can look up the industry strength from Q Edge. I can look up the industry rotation using the double gear, and I can look up the industry graph using the single gear. Let me go to the rotation table, and I am not required to choose one stock at a time. I can choose both the stocks. You can see Netgear is in communications equipment industry, Activision Blizzard interactive home entertainment. Let's see how these industries are relative to others. Both the stocks are selected. I'm clicking the gear icon. That will show me the industry rotation scorecard. Beautiful, isn't it? This is what I mentioned earlier. The market is at the top. Instead of buying overbought stocks, overbought industries, you may focus on industries that are starting to go up, that were weak earlier, and that you may recognize instantly from the color coding. Both of these industries were weak earlier and they strengthened over 2 days, Thursday, Friday, and over 1 day. It also accelerated over 2 days. So both in terms of strength And in terms of acceleration, both these industries allow us to buy the stocks. So ATVI and Netgear, if you look at the two charts, and let me for a moment go to Q Elite. This is ATVI. ATVI has a weekly resistance. Otherwise, it is looking very strong, coming up from the watermark support, which had a bullish headwind at the same level. And Netgear has excellent support in the weekly, daily about to break multiple, the last of the nearby trendline resistance. One is already broken. Also has a also has a bullish headwind from which price went up. Now we completed 360 degrees analysis, and if I was not explaining to you, if you were not explaining to anybody but just using the system, you could do the entire analysis in a couple of minutes. Again, what did I do? First I went to Q Finder, and let me carry out these steps without talking. Finder, go to bullish stocks, look at the breakouts, send the stocks to seasonality, calculating, look at the seasonality table, filter by May seasonality strong, take these stocks, carry out a fundamental analysis using Q Vital, again connecting with Refinitiv and gathering data to calculate the stock scorecard. Calculation is done. Go to the stock scorecard, look at the strongest stocks, open the stocks using Q technical charts, flip through them. Both of them are giving possible breakout trades. Last step, look at their industry rotation table from Q edge. That is also strong. That is how you can quickly but using extremely robust fully real-time systems identify trades that are low risk and very high probability. In this case, even seasonality is aligned with the trades. Not only industry strength, not only technical setup, not only great fundamentals, but also seasonality strength, and certainly market is bullish. In this market, I will continue to take long trades, but in stocks like these that are not overbought, you may find many such buying opportunities, in fact, just like the CYH trade. And I am observing this not only in USA market, but in other markets like India market as well. There are buying opportunities, seems to be in many markets, USA market as well as global markets. I'll not take more time today to find more stocks, but let me show the integrations between Edge Vital Index and seasonality. Let's go to Q Edge, go to Home. Let's do a top-down analysis. I'll not try to find trades, but let's do a top-down analysis to demonstrate the use of top-down with seasonality. I'm going to the sector scorecard, looking at the strongest sectors: energy, consumer discretionary. Interestingly, healthcare is the third strongest. It was weak for a long time. Let's drill down into these three sectors. These are the industries in those three sectors that are strongest on Friday. Let me select the industries that are strongest in those sectors. If you go up to the bold case, that will give you the top 20%. So I may select all of them. Look at their stock scorecard. Let's look for 3-star candidates. You see there are still many undervalued stocks with high earnings growth. they may go up. That's why I'm not thinking that the market is in such a situation there is no more stock left to go up. That's not true. There are plenty of stocks that are undervalued still going up. Now there are many stocks here. Let me now send them to seasonality. That is how in top-down analysis you may use seasonality. From the stock scorecard, from these fundamentally strong stocks, you could look at their charts, you could look at their finder signals, or now you can look their seasonality also. Let me go to their seasonality. Retrieving data. Look at their seasonality table. In the month of May, look for at least 70% or higher seasonality, two of them. Let me calculate their fundamental scorecard again using Q Vital. I know they will be strong because I already selected them from Q Edge in that way. I am demonstrating how you may go back and forth between different systems. They are already strong. So if I came back to seasonality, I know they are already fundamentally strong. I could simply open them on Q Global. Let me close Q Global Charts. Click the chart icon to open Q Global Charts. This is strongly bullish, lower left upper right pattern, but too extended for my liking. DGX also too extended to my liking. That is how you may carry out a top-down analysis starting with Q Edge. I already demonstrated how you may go from Q Finder to seasonality and then carry out the other dimension analysis. You may do the same thing from Vital. Now, one stock that you might have noticed when I was doing drill down was CPS. This is an interesting stock. Let's look at its Vital scorecard. And this is one stock I referred to in a tweet that I shared recently. This was the tweet. One of the best performing stocks today is a star candidate, meaning undervalued with great earnings growth. It happens to be in a strong industry too. Could you identify the stock today in real time? And if you look at the graph, I shared 4 bubble charts, top 10 stocks over 1 day, top 10 stocks over 5 days, top 10 over 10 days, and top 10 over 1 month. And this is an analysis showing whether the growth stocks are doing better or undervalued stocks are doing better. The x-axis is, in this graph, it is annual earnings growth. Y-axis is valuation score. This cross mark is defining the 4 quadrants. Top right is value plus growth. So on Friday, we have 2 stocks that are 3-star, undervalued with high earnings growth. We have some stocks that are value stocks going up by large percentage. These are top 10 stocks on Friday. We have some stocks that are high growth, at least 25%, and several stocks that are neither undervalued nor having earnings growth. So what to do with these stocks? These stocks are extremely good buy candidates provided they have technical trade setup. And we will look at industry also in terms of fundamentals. These are the best buying candidates, the 3-star candidates. We may also buy undervalued stocks, may not have earnings growth, or we may also buy stocks that are having earnings growth, may not be undervalued. These are the 2 second level of fundamentally strong stocks, and we'll avoid, at least I usually avoid buying stocks that are neither undervalued nor having earnings growth. So that is how this 4 quadrant analysis can be used, and it also shows what it shows on Friday. We can see overall there were several growth stocks that went up, several value stocks that went up. Those are our buying universe using Q technique. Now, which one is this stock? It went up by 22%. The numbers on the bubble show the percentage by which it went up, and this is a single day performance. Single day performance 22%, having extremely high earnings growth. See the annual earnings growth, more than 4,000%. More than 4,000%. That is annual earnings growth. And it is also undervalued in the top right quadrant. Which one is this stock and how could we identify it? When I did the top-down analysis, what did I do just now? Went to the strongest sectors, drill down into the industries, top-down analysis, found the only industries that are strong in these sectors, went to the underlying stocks, and which one came to the top? CPS. And this is the stock that I showed on that 4 quadrant analysis, value versus growth performance. Went up by 22%, 21.9 to almost 22%, rounded to 22. And see the single page scorecard of the stock. Excellent valuation. The yearly earnings growth that was plotted on the 4 quadrant analysis, more than 4,000%. Annual earnings growth very high. Quarterly earnings growth is also high. Not only for the current quarter, for the last 2 quarters also. Has some revenue growth, but more important is it is accelerating. Not by huge percentage, but it is accelerating. There is a short squeeze potential. See the strength of the industry in itself on Friday. 95% of the stocks in auto parts equipment industry. How many stocks here? 38 stocks retrieved in real time. They went up on Friday. So this is the stock that I referred to on my Twitter. High growth, undervalued, went up by 22% in a single day, and now we see that stock is CPS. We found it from top-down analysis using QH. Now let's look at the stocks chart. Look at it using weekly, daily. It's looking quite bullish to me. In the weekly, it stopped at the channel line, but more importantly, it closed with bullish backdrop color, bullish shape, displayed a bull release signal. Even in the weekly interval, it was at pendulum low just 1 week ago, shown by the red dot, and now it is pendulum neutral. But if I remove the lines, at pendulum low, a bullish reversal. That is a very bullish sign. Bullish reversals are bullish, but if they happen at pendulum low, they are an opportunity to catch the stock at the lowest possible price. That is the insight from the weekly Q chart. And in the daily, it was going down, and see with how much force it went up on Friday, closed above the yellow direction line. White direction line is already below it, broke above this channel line also. Bullish flow, bullish pressure, very high volume. This may be a buying opportunity at the very low point, and we already know it is in a strong industry. We came to this stock from top-down analysis from QH. We know it is giving a buy the bottom on a very bullish move, right at the bottom opportunity on Q technical charts, strong fundamentals. Now, lastly, we might check seasonality. As I mentioned earlier, seasonality is nice to have. I don't want to stop taking a trade because seasonality is not good, but let's check that out. And now I am on Q Vital. I can click wherever you see the seasonality button, you may click that to go to seasonality. And because this is a single stock, it will take me to Q season program. I have both of them open. This is Q season program. It is retrieving data. Done. And you can see I have data for 7 years. Neutral seasonality, there is no seasonality. Bullish should be green or cyan, bearish should be red or magenta. There is not enough information to take the trade based on seasonality. I can see on average it is down. Percentage of gain when up in May 4.8, percentage of loss when down in May is 13%. But in any case, the seasonality is yellow and the data is only 7 years. We cannot rely on seasonality based on that. Therefore, we can find stocks in different ways. One is top-down analysis, we came to CPS. Another is bottom-up analysis, where we started with breakout candidates and we came to these two stocks, Activision Blizzard and Netgear. And let me add CPS to that. Whether it is top-down or bottom-up, you will end up with stocks that are fundamentally strong, technically giving a proper trade setup, and they are in strong industries as well. Whatever be the market condition, using the 100% real-time Q systems, finding trades should not be difficult, as these live webinars show. We are at the 1 hour point. Let me end today's session here. Thanks a lot for joining. I look forward to seeing you in my next session, that will most likely be on Wednesday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will share the YouTube live link on my Twitter page. You already know probably my Twitter page. And if you are subscribing to the YouTube channel, you will get notification from YouTube as well. Thanks a lot once again. Keep safe, and as I always say, no reason not to do so. Trade profitably.